Today's video, we're in the middle of a lockdown at the moment, so we haven't been able to use a caravan for flipping ages. So this has kind of made us sit around and think, and we're talking about previous trips we've had and looking at old photos, and I thought I'd do a little vlog about our first caravan and a little bit about why we got into caravans.
It's alright. It's Caravan vlog.
This is quality caravan vlogging. So why we started caravanning? Right, firstly, we've never caravanned in childhood or never had anyone, any family or anything that's owned a caravan. I know Mandy did some like camping when she was younger, and I think they had like a camper van type thing, but we've never had or been involved in caravanning at all. Certainly with me, my mum and dad never drove. I mean, the whole of their life they never learned to drive, and we never had a car growing up. So we used to go to static caravans, Cornwall and Norfolk and stuff like that. So they were our holidays, and we'd get on a coach. We had a local coach firm that did trips, and we'd get all the way to Devon on a coach. Dad had a moped, so we can't tow a caravan with a moped. We had some neighbours, lived opposite us actually, a retired couple, and they had a caravan, and we was always watching them go away, and we was like, oh no, I've never really understood why people caravan, and we could see them going away all these times, and after a while you sort of think, yeah, these guys are getting away like every weekend, they're hitching up, and didn't seem to be too much hassle. Around about that time we were going on holiday, obviously flying with the family. We went a couple of times to the US. First time we booked to go to Florida, and it was just before 9/11 terrorist attacks. Yeah, so the 9/11 attacks, I had to look up the year, it was shocking really, 2001, and we booked to go to Florida in the following December. We weren't really sure whether the flight was going to go ahead or the holiday was just in turmoil. Anyway, it did go ahead, and about probably a day before we was set to fly, they had the shoe bomber, if you remember that. So a guy hopped on a plane, British guy hopped on a plane to Orlando, Florida, and had like a small explosive device in his shoe. And this was just before we were going over, so as if security wasn't heightened enough, we had all that to contend with. And also, it's that, you know, it does get you a bit worried. So when we got to Florida, everyone was made to take their shoes off and search, scan the shoes, and it was just, I mean, completely reactive. Understandable, I guess. But it just made the whole process of getting through the airport an absolute nightmare. So that kind of got us thinking, you know, we're not, and the thing where you've got to get to the airport 2 hours before or 3 hours before, and it's just so much messing around. Eventually, watching our neighbour go on holiday, talking to them about caravanning, getting friendly with them, going in the caravan, looking round, and it kind of sets a little seed in your mind. I was doing a bit of research, having known nothing about caravans, so we started going to local caravan dealers, and I was absolutely shocked at the price of caravans, how expensive they were. And the more I was looking into this, the more I just couldn't believe the price, and that was out of our reach. I'm never going to, you know, we were sort of thinking, right, what we do, we'll save up, we'll spend all the money we've got on the caravan, and that's the only caravan, the only holidays we'll have will be in the caravan. I don't know how I happened upon it, but I came across European caravans. Now, they weren't as expensive, and for the price of a 4-year-old, 5-year-old Bailey, I could get a brand new caravan, which kind of appealed to me. And at the time, British caravans, they were like beige. It was all about beige. I mean, I know looking around here, this probably looks a bit beige, but there is some colour. The curtains are sort of a bluey colour. But even the caravans themselves were beige. Like Bailey were the worst as well for it. I mean, you can see it. I mean, my neighbour had a Bailey, and I didn't like anything, but it was kind of like an orange-brown interior. Like, what the heck? European caravans, especially German caravans, they looked a lot more modern inside and a lot more. I mean, we were, how old were we? Maybe 30, 35, mid-30s. We were modern people. We weren't retired. We weren't retired pensioners that wanted everything brown. And I was looking at German caravans, Knaus in particular, or Knaus, however you want to pronounce it, and they had light blue chairs and light blue seats. I mean, that was pretty much what attracted me to them. And they didn't have microwaves and stuff like that, and didn't even have a large cooker. And we thought, how much cooking are you going to do in a caravan? We'd do it outside anyway. There was a Neweer model in particular that we liked, and I started researching that, looking for dealers. And there was a dealer in Germany. I just mailed them. I said, I see you've got this blah blah. Can you send me the specs? And they replied almost straight away with the specs of the Caravan. After a short conversation with Maddie, we had a look at it. We decided we liked it. It's a fairly smallish Caravan, fixed bed, which we liked. Now the layout was the other way round to UK Caravans, but of course it didn't. I mean, obviously the door was on the other side, which is something we didn't really appreciate too much. But because we'd never owned a British Caravan, it didn't really matter to us. And the guy shouted something, but I couldn't understand. He's very good English, but I just couldn't quite grasp what he'd said. What he was saying was, the legs aren't down, and I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. So I rushed straight to the back, single axle, boom, down on a. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing.
It's alright. It's Caravan Vlog.
This is quality caravan vlogging.